There's still violence in our community, far too much family violence. Everyone in this room knows that. Women and children are still dying, but we must never forget how far we've come. Otherwise, we lose hope. Specifically to you lot in the room today, we really want you to be inspired. I know you're all doing the hard yards. You work in a really, really difficult area, but you must remember that it is working. Things are changing. We also know that you're at the peak of implementing the framework, and some of you need more support, and we get that. That's why we're here. You're going to get encouragement, but you're also going to get practical information for the next stretch. We're here to help. Bit of housekeeping before we start, because you've got an incredible array of speakers. I'd ask you to put your phones on silent. Please, if you are so inclined to do the tweets or Facebook or bloody Instagram, whatever it is you want to do, there is a hashtag, SHRV, which is SHRFV. The toilets, I don't know if any of you, but I got lost like I was at some bloody sideshow. Like there's a wall of mirrors and there's 2 doors that are toilets just out there. We are being videoed today. There's photos being taken. If you don't want to be videoed or have your photo taken, please just indicate that to the camera operator. If there's an emergency, just run. I'll probably go out that way. No, look for the people, look for the Art Centre staff, look for the people wearing the beautiful brooches, and obviously go to the fire exits. The agenda's a fairly standard, very packed agenda, that we have speakers, we have workshops, we have panels. The breakout sessions, which are happening between lunch and afternoon tea, for those of you who got to pre-register, please go to the one that you registered for. If you haven't been able to register, go and do that at morning tea. If you've been to any event that I've emceed before, you will know, contrary to the reputation of a comedian, I'm a bloody stickler for time. I promise you we'll be finished by 4:30. There's no way we'll stick to the agenda. Like, let's just throw that out the window now. But we will finish at 4:30. On that note, a special request from me publicly to our speakers to please stick to your time. I do have a little bell. I hate using it, but I will use it 2 minutes before you're due to wrap up, just so that you know it's time to start winding up. Okay, are you ready to get started? Yeah, okay. So the way today's going to work is that when I ask you something like that, you're going to talk back to me so that I can hear you, not like TV. So we're going, are you ready to get started? Yes, excellent, fantastic. Well, let's introduce Dr. Sue Matthews. Are you ready, Sue? Sue Matthews is the CEO of the Royal Women's Hospital. She's an experienced health service leader and manager with more than 20 years of senior operational and strategic leadership in hospitals, community care and government. She's held a variety of positions from staff nurse, educator, manager, director and provincial chief nursing officer for Ontario. She sits on a number of advisory committees that I won't name all of them. She's won like a bazillion awards. She has extensive research experience, having been a principal investigator on various research projects, over 30, and she's been the primary or co-author of 13 publications. She's a big deal. Put your hands together for Dr. Sue Matthews.
Thanks, Nellie. All that really means is that I'm old, so that's okay. As soon as they say a senior, whatever, I think, oh, experienced, that's right. So welcome today. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are an Aboriginal country and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So on behalf of the Royal Women's Hospital, welcome to the 2018 SHRV, Strengthening Hospitals' Response to Family Violence Statewide Forum. This is amazing to see so many people here. There's over 300 people here from multiple health services across Victoria. The Victorian government has committed $38.4 million to this initiative over 4 years. And 2018 is the biggest year, with just over $13 million being spent on this. It's our biggest financial investment, and we need to use it wisely because it's going to go down regardless of the outcome of an election in November. We need to make sure that we take this opportunity to really change and embed this and make it sustainable so that we as health services can respond to our patients and staff who are experiencing family violence. Today's program has been developed by the Women's with this in mind. So we're going to provide you with some future direction, hopefully some enthusiasm, some support to continue your work, and to work towards sustainability of this program within your service. So today is also an opportunity to celebrate the success that we've had to date. It's been a hard slog, and it is definitely a difficult work that we all have to do. But let's do a little bit of a short history of where we're at. In 2014, the Women's and our partner Bendigo Health were funded to develop, implement, and test a whole-of-hospital approach to family violence. In 2015, the Strengthening Hospital Responses to Family Violence approach was born. This work was informed by international best practice and the Women's and Bendigo Health's experience implementing the model. In January 2016, 4 health services, 2 metros and 2 regional services joined the project. In August of 2016, an additional 15 health services joined the project, 11 metros and 4 regional services. In July of 2017, 88 health services, 19 metros and 69 regional services were involved in this project. These same services are funded or supported in 2017-18. Just like the Women's and Bendigo Health did, and continue to do, it's moving forward without me. All 88 services are now making adaptations to the approach to suit their own operating environments. The Women's experience in 2014 and still to this day in 2018, I'm wondering why this is moving without me clicking. Do we know? Okay, I'll try and leave it there. It demonstrates that there isn't a one-size-fits-all. So you can't just take something and drop it in and everybody do exactly the same. It is a unique experience for each health service. So it's not possible to do it overnight, because you've got to make sure it's translated to your needs and your specifics. And that means it takes time. So over the past 12 months, though, great progress has been made by these 88 health services. And now it's not moving forward. There we go. I think we're where we're supposed to be. So we've had over 10,000 staff trained by 2017-18. That's 10,000 hospital staff, including managers, clinicians, and non-clinical staff who have increased their awareness and understanding of the drivers of family violence this year. We know that as a result, many of them now feel an increased confidence to support patients experiencing family violence. Feedback from an end-of-year report told us that across the state, 72 health services have senior leadership engagement in the initiative. 47 have policies and procedures to support patients that are approved and in use. 54 have policies and procedures to support staff that are approved and in use. 74 health services now have established partnerships with local family violence services. 10 health services have health justice partnerships established and have supported over 540 patients in 2017-18 alone. While these data and the numbers are impressive and important, as you all know, the Strengthening Hospitals Response approach is more than simply training our staff or creating new policies and procedures on how to respond to patients or staff experiencing family violence. The Strengthening Hospitals Response to Family Violence approach is about culture change. It takes time and it's very complex. It won't happen overnight. It requires a sustained effort and a total commitment from hospital boards, executives, through to all levels in the organization. The Women's and Bendigo Health recently compiled feedback from 88 Strengthening Hospitals Response to Family Violence Health Services about your work and experiences implementing this approach in 17-18. We asked you what advice would you give another health service about to embark on implementing the Strengthening Hospitals Response model. Overwhelming and consistently, your feedback said it was the importance of having a committed and engaged executive and leadership team to lead the culture change required to successfully implement the Strengthening Hospitals Response approach. You'll see this where we put our thumbprints on a tree and it's being framed, and it was a part of the Go Orange event. Highly visible in our front foyer and lobby. And we now know that other hospitals have done a number of these things. This is now framed and will be placed as a reminder of our commitment to the Strengthening Hospitals Response at the Women's. Towards the end of 17, the Women's initiated a statewide rollout of the new Strengthening Hospitals' Response to Family Violence Workplace Support Program. It's designed to support our own healthcare staff who are experiencing family violence. It's interesting, people go, what? When I tell them that, the public, when I'm at a barbecue or some sort of a dinner, they say, well, what do you mean? And when I say to them, 30% of women experience family violence, full stop. 85% of our staff are women, full stop. Let's think about this. So we know that 30% or more, and we've got some research that actually shows that it was actually higher than 30% in a health service. It's important that we understand how to support our staff who are experiencing family violence. I share a quick example. I was a frontline manager of a gynecology unit many years ago, and my staff were coming to me in dribs and drabs and saying, that nurse is being abused by her husband. You know that, don't you? And all the signs were there, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I didn't know how to ask her. And then once I did ask her and she denied it, and I didn't know what to do with it. And when she finally did admit and disclose, I didn't know what to do with that. It was one of the most challenging experiences in my career as a manager and leader because I didn't have the tools. And that's what this program is designed to do, to give the tools to our managers to understand what is happening to our staff when they're experiencing family violence. So there are numerous resources and implementation workshops, and many hospitals have now commenced their own manager training and family violence support programs, and some are in the planning stage. If any of you here need convincing why a family violence workplace support program is important, I want to share with you a video from Katie. Many of you know Katie's story, and she is an amazing vocal survivor advocate who's also a health professional. This video is part of a new series of stories called Beneath the Surface. The series is about health workers' experience of family violence that the University of Melbourne and the Women's recently developed. And Professor Kelsey Hagerty is here, and she'll be launching that this afternoon, so I'll try not to steal her thunder. Katie's video explains more and better than what I can as to why we need to look after our people.
Some see survivors as damaged, risky, unpredictable. I'm not. Others see the real me, authentic, resourceful, and resilient. I've survived fear, control, and abuse. I've learned a lot from men who use violence. Sometimes I wonder how my employers see me, where they think I sit in their balance sheet. Am I an asset or a liability? My family violence experiences help me more than they hinder me as a social worker. I meet women from the inside out. I see the world through their eyes. I remember how it felt to be trapped, what it takes to move from fear to freedom. Family violence has affected me profoundly, but it's only one part of my life. It does not define me. My survivor experience is just as valuable as the 4 degrees which taught me to help women from the outside in, and that's why my colleagues turn to me. I save the taxpayer dollars by reducing deaths, coronial inquiries, repeat admissions, and long hospital stays. I've invested thousands of dollars in my professional and personal development. But if the health minister invested more in survivor workers, then we could save more lives. Working in the front line of public hospitals is a health hazard. We are exposed to trauma day after day. I've seen my colleagues become robots, break down, burn out, lose their humanity. They needed more care. Lots of money goes to maintaining our buildings and machines, but what about the staff? All health workers need program maintenance to let go of the trauma we see and hear. For me, that sort of trauma is a mother and a 9-week-old baby who might be murdered or kidnapped before my next shift. I need creative things to keep me well. So where are the staff groups? The yoga, meditation, Pilates, art and music therapy. Help me be the social worker I needed. We are all doing our best as health workers in a sea of trauma. If you help us thrive, then we can keep others alive.
If you ever needed to know why, that's why. For any executives or senior managers in the audience today, I think the message is clear from our staff. As executives, we need to be leading and engaged with this Strengthening Hospitals Response approach for it to be successful, to gain momentum, and to ensure its sustainability. Other consistent feedback from health services across the state was the importance of learning from each other in implementing this approach. The Strengthening Hospitals Response model is designed to be adapted to suit the health setting in which you operate, and this means that many of you have tried new ways of doing things. Even though the Women's has been leading this work for 4 years, we're constantly learning from many of you. This again demonstrates there's no one-size-fits-all. Learning from others, doing this work, not duplicating effort, and engaging with the network of Strengthening Hospitals Response workers is also key. Today's forum program has been designed to assist us all to learn from one another. As well as peer learning, most importantly, we need to learn from and listen to the voices of family violence survivors. Survivors may be our staff, they may be our patients. Involving survivors to support and develop and improve our hospital responses to family violence will undoubtedly lead to better outcomes for patients and staff. Finally, a word on sustainability. The Women's, like many of you, has been working towards and thinking ahead about how to make our work sustainable as funding decreases or ends in coming years. While it's undoubtedly a challenge for all of us, we believe there are some key approaches that health services can and should be putting into place in 2018-19 to support the sustainability of Strengthening Hospitals Response in years to come. Jane's going to cover this shortly when she provides an overview of the 4th edition of the Strengthening Hospitals Response to Family Violence Toolkit that will be launched today, and some new tools and advice we've developed and are releasing to assist sustainability of this work in your health service. In closing, I want to share just a few of the wonderful images of the work that's gone on across the state in the past 12 months. I want to congratulate you all on your hard work that you've carried out to date and will do in the future months and years to improve how our health services are responding to family violence experienced by our patients and our staff. I know it can be difficult trying to lead and bring about culture and system change to improve how hospitals respond to family violence. And while it can certainly present challenges, I think you know, like I do, that your work is vitally important for the benefit of our patients and staff experiencing family violence and is contributing to the much-needed social change to reduce the occurrence and incidence of family violence in the Victorian community. Through implementing the Strengthening Hospitals Response to Family Violence approach, you are ensuring health professionals feel supported to identify and respond to patients affected by family violence, and that our hospitals have the necessary programs in place to support staff at a personal and a professional level. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the day.